My name's Jamie Bradley. I work for Endeavour Digital, and this is my big interview. Yes, so Endeavour Digital are a digital agency that specialise in front-end solutions. So what we mean by that is we build websites, JavaScript applications, mainly with React, and we specialise in an architecture called Jamstack. And we also build mobile applications also using React. We don't collaborate with a lot of companies in this area. The majority of our business actually comes from Newcastle, and that's mainly just because of contacts that I've had in the past. We've done some work further afield as well, so one of our clients is Brighton based, but locally we've done work with a company called Endeavour Digital, and we did a lot of work, React Native work for them. I like how open people are, and you know, even just meeting up with someone over a coffee and being able to talk shop's quite nice, but we also find that you get to learn from other people's experiences, which is really good. Like Ian at Big Bites, awesome for that. I've met up with him a few times, and the last time I saw him was when I was looking to take on our apprentice, who's actually my brother. Yeah, I was reaching out to him to see how he went about, getting apprentices on board and what kind of challenges he had and what good things he had from it. And he, strongly recommended that I went and did it, so I did. Well, it's hard to answer because it's kind of already happening, but I would really like to see a complex where we can kind of be closer together. I think the one negative thing I find about where we're situated at Boho 5 is that we feel personally I feel a little bit abstracted away from the rest of Boho 1, and it would be nice if there could be some kind of complex where we could all be in one place rather than in separate buildings. But I guess with the recent news that kind of thing is going to be coming up, so that's really cool. So this story is quite cool. So long before I got into tech, I used to be in a band, and the band was called Hey Alaska, and local based band. We did a lot of touring, and one of our band members worked for HMV, and we entered a kind of like a battle of the bands competition, but one member from the band had to work at HMV basically, so I guess we were up against other HMV staff members across the country. To cut the long story short, we actually managed to win this contest. So the prize was, we got some recording time at Universal Studios in London, but then we also got to play at the Hammersmith Apollo. So HMV, for their Christmas party, they hosted this massive event at the Hammersmith Apollo, and they brought Tiny Temper over, Eliza Doolittle, some other pretty big names, and then the compere was John Bishop. So the craziest thing happened where we done our bit. He introduced us. He made a laugh because we were from Stockton. And then after that, we went to the back of the room, and I was just stood having a pint with John Bishop like it was nothing. The first time I ever went to Leeds Festival, because that was certainly an experience. I'll never forget coming home and my mum just saying, get in the shower, you stink. Not caring about, not having a wash for 3 days and just being on the drink every day. It was an experience, it was good. There was one time where, I don't know if this really should be going on here, but I'd had that much to drink that I was really tired, and I was asleep on this deck chair, and it was one of them fold out ones, with the cloth on it, and there was a bit that had been snapped, and the rod was like that with a big sharp edge, and I was that drunk I didn't realise that I was asleep on it like that. And this is long before smartphones, so all of the portable cameras were coming out. I feel really old saying that. It was only in 2008.
Disposable camera.
Yeah, honestly, we had loads of disposable cameras, so then they got they got developed, and then people put them on MySpace by taking a photo with a digital camera. I used to be, I've got a black belt in karate basically, so I used to do martial arts from about the age of 11 through to 17. Yeah, so it has to be probably getting the black belt, yeah. That entire karate phase was pretty good for me in terms of sport. But since I basically stopped karate because I found the band, so I haven't really done much sport since then. Oh, so there's a shameless plug here because I co-run Middlesbrough Front End, which is a front end development meet up in Middlesbrough. It's quite new. We've had about 2 or 3 events now. But obviously I'm not going to say that my own meetup is my favourite one. But Refresh Teesside is probably the next one that I would like to opt for, yeah. So I live in Eaglescliffe, and I like where I live because it's so quiet. We're on a main road, but you wouldn't even think it. There's no bother, touch wood. Hopefully no one's going to see this and start causing havoc over there. But yeah, it's just near the airport road, as if you were driving towards Teesside Airport. It's right next to the school, so our kids can get there. So this is really hard. I think I'm going to say it's Borges in Stockton, because I was stuck between that one, the Bluebell in Yarm, and the ship over. Oh, I can't remember what that's called, but yeah, definitely Borges, because they just do a killer Parmo. I'd like to say that I've got an eco-friendly car. I'm not sure how true that is, but it's supposed to be economical. I would like to eventually get an electric car, but I just wanted to get this little this little phase out of the way of having something a bit more performant. So this is quite a funny story. It could have been quite serious, but it's quite funny. I was driving to Squash, funnily enough, when I used to play Billingham Forum, and there's a roundabout just near Wolverston, and this poor lass, a car had broke down like right on the junction. She had like a newborn baby in the car, and she was in tears. And as I was driving past her, I was like, "Are you okay?" And she was like, "No." So I spun round the roundabout, pulled up next to her, and then I got out the car and tried to push the car on the side, which was, that just felt like the right thing to do. However, the car was a lot heavier than I actually thought I was, so I was pushing this car really hard, couldn't get it to move, and then these two blokes pulled up in a lorry, got out of the wagon, and then helped me move it along. But I think I managed to redeem myself, because she obviously was stuck there with the baby. We had a baby at that point, so I let her put her bairn in our child's seat, and I drove her to her mum's house around the corner. Well, I would have said the band, but I've obviously brought that up sooner. But I'm actually a type 1 diabetic, and I've been living with diabetes since I was 14, so 16 years this year now. Yeah, so I take insulin on a daily basis. I have a little machine here that sort of keeps me alive, I suppose. So yeah, God bless the NHS. So, the biggest fuck up. Probably when I was 24 and I met my now wife, I made a pact that when I turn 30, I'll shave my beard off. I've had a beard forever, and she never forgot about it. So my biggest fuck up is having a shave, because I felt so embarrassed after it. I look like a right tit. So this sounds quite sad, to be honest, but I love driving on a night time. I just like the way that the cars light up, and I like how quiet the roads are. So I can't think of anything else to say other than I'd probably go for a nice big drive. Your appendix, because I don't really know what it does.
That is cheating.
Van Wilder, because who wouldn't? Have you ever seen Van Wilder? Oh, right, he's this guy who's probably about 30, and he's a bum basically. He can't establish the fact that he needs to move on and grow up, so he just constantly keeps failing college and stays in college every year, but he's like the coolest guy. And I think if you could just be Van Wilder for one day, I think everyone should experience it, because you need to go and see the film to understand, but it's good, yeah.